Hey guys, Coach Hickman. Hope everybody's staying safe. But we're going to do our 2019-2020 awards here virtually. So, couple things before we get started here. Number one, for those of you that are returning next year, we're looking at hopefully July 1st being the first time we can do something in the room together. I know a couple of you guys have texted me wanting to get started, wanting to get on the mat. It's not going to happen until at least July 1st as of right now. So fingers crossed, knock on wood that we can get back on the mat here soon. I feel like I'm going crazy and I'm probably driving my wife crazy at home, but July 1st will be that day. Next, your physical for next year. The IHSA came out with a release a couple weeks ago basically stating that if you had a physical for the 2019-2020 school year or sports year, it will be valid for 2020-2021. Okay, so no need to get a new physical if you had one last year, which all of you did, and then pass that word along to some of the other either middle school or high school athletes that may not know that. Okay, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to do is thank a couple of my coaches. We've got a pretty large staff, and I'm very thankful to have all these guys by my side. At some point, I either wrestled with, was coached by, or coached all these guys. So Maddy Anderson, he's got over 20 years of experience. Was a coach on staff when I was in high school. Actually had his wife as a first grade teacher. Not to make you feel old or anything. But he's my right-hand man. There's not a lot of important decisions that I make without him. And I really appreciate all he does. Brice Tanner. Brice is a year older than me, wrestled at West Central. He's been our heavyweight coach the last few years and does a great job. James Oliver. James was the head coach here a couple of years ago before I was. He's a volunteer assistant, helps out a lot with our club, runs our club, and again, very appreciative for everything he does for us. Wouldn't be able to do it without him. And then our four college guys, Brady White, Colin Stanley, Ryan Webb, Caleb Walmsley, all fairly recent graduates, all had a lot of success in high school and come back and roll with our guys whenever they can. I then want to thank a bunch of people. And if I'm forgetting anybody, I really apologize. But first things first, our administration, Ken Hickman, the athletic director, AJ Jones, principal, and Mr. Craig, our superintendent. We have a ton of support here at Rensselaer for wrestling. Obviously, Ken being my dad helped. Mr. Jones was a wrestling coach down in the Indianapolis area before he moved up here. And Mr. Craig was actually a wrestling coach and was a state qualifier at Benton Central when he was a high schooler. So not a lot of schools have the support that we have for wrestling. Not a lot of administrators that maybe from other schools, or not as many as our school has had the wrestling experience and know the sport. And so I'm extremely thankful that I can go and talk to those guys and speak the same language as them when it comes to wrestling. I want to thank the high school football staff. They come and work our super duels in December. They do it every year, and they do a fantastic job. It's one thing that we don't really have to worry about because we know they're going to do a great job. Carol Minter and the concession stand workers, again, something we never have to worry about. They do a fantastic job. Our maintenance staff, they've done a lot of work for us here lately, putting up signs. A little shout out to Ray. I know Ray's on leave right now. Can't wait to have him back. He's a great worker, as well as Chris, Wayne, Bill Corbin, rest of the maintenance staff that help us out whenever we need it. I want to thank the Winning Edge and Clay Scott. They get us gear, tape, whatever it may be on a very quick basis. Clay's easy to work with, puts our stuff together very, very quick. I know we ordered some jackets both for IHSA State and Girl State. We ordered them on a Friday and a Saturday and had them within 4 or 5 days. So he does a great job. Really appreciate all of his work. And then the Bomber Wrestling Club staff. Coach Oliver runs again the club, but the Robinson family, the Northcutt family, Kent Korniak, the Cottoners, everybody that helps run the club in some way, and I might be forgetting a few people, and I apologize for doing so, but we've got over 100 kids wrestling from high school all the way down to preschool right now, and I hope that number continues to grow, but we're on a great track, and we've got a lot of great people helping us out right now. So this past year, we did a nice little fundraiser. Thank you guys for busting your butt with that. We raised a little over $9,000 to help with different expenses, including these new wrestling mats. So originally, we were supposed to get these mats at the end of May. That was before COVID-19, the quarantine, shut everything down. And Resolite, the company making our mats, had pushed that back to closer to the end of July. Well, got a call last week that they're going to push up our order because we can accept orders right now, and we should have these by the end of the month. They've got to sit out and cure for a little bit, so good news is by the time we have the clear to get back in the wrestling room, these things will already be in there, and we'll be ready to rock and roll on them. I'm very excited to have them. Our mats that we currently have are about 40 years old, so it'd be really nice to get some new mats. We've also been painting the wrestling room here. It'll look nice and fresh. It'll look brand new by the time you guys get in there. So again, thank you for busting your butt and getting those sponsorships and raising all that money. It's gone a long way. All right, now to the awards. All right, so for the third year in a row, we were IHSA sectional champs. Only the second time this has ever happened in school history, and hopefully that continues going into next year. We've got a target on our back, obviously. It's not going to be easy. We've lost a lot of big point scorers, but if we can get guys to step up, I think we can for sure win it again and become the first team or first group to win 4 in a row. We had 4 IHSA individual sectional champs. Lakin, Webb, Kyle Carter, and Pierce Taylor all winning their first, and then Eli Hickman winning his 4th, becoming the only Bomber to win 4 individual sectional titles. We had 9 regional qualifiers, several new faces to the regionals. I think we had 5 or 6 new guys qualify for the regionals, so showing a lot of improvement throughout the year. We had 2 regional champs, both Lakin and Eli. One with a pin, one with a tech fall. So big wins, big points scored at regionals. Eli wins his 3rd regional. Lakin's only a sophomore. Hopefully we can get him up to that 3rd number by the time it's all said and done. Then we had 6 semi-state qualifiers. Again, most of our guys here, this was their first time getting to the semi-state. Actually, everybody but Eli had never been there before. So that was a really fun experience getting those guys there. I know it was a goal for a lot of our younger guys to get that far. I know it was a big thing for Kobe and Pierce as well. So very, very proud of those guys for stepping up, improving throughout the year, improving in the off season, and putting themselves in a good situation to qualify for that semi-state. We also had 5 girls participate at the Indiana High School Girls Wrestling Regional that took place at Mechaniqua in early January. And those 5 are Michelle Aguilar, Lacy Leer, Rhiannon Pinkerman, Rachel Dunlap, and Trixie Magrin-Jacobson. We had 2 girls end up qualifying and placing top 4 at the regional, qualifying for the state finals down in Kokomo. Rachel, who's a freshman, placed 8th at 98 pounds, and Trixie Magrin-Jacobson placed 3rd at 170 pounds with a broken hand. So very proud of them and all their efforts this year. And we also had 1 IHSA state placer. It is our 4th state placer in school history. It's Eli's 3rd time being a state qualifier. Placed 7th. Would really like to have his Saturday morning match back, get into the semifinals and be guaranteed top 4, but still very proud of him for finishing strong, winning that last match on Saturday and getting on the podium for the first time. We set a school record this year for wins with 23. be a difficult thing for us to beat here in the near future, considering the fact that we probably won't be attending the Jeff duels next year, which is 10 duels, and we were able to win nine matches at Jeff this year. We're going to Team State, which will be a real tough tournament. We'll be going up to LaPorte in early December to wrestle them in Maryville, a couple other tough region schools. So we got our work cut out for us to reach that mark, but still very proud of us this year for beating who was in front of us, whether they were tough or not, and looking forward to improving on that. We're going to strengthen our schedule now and start preparing to break other records. Let's get guys to the semi-state. Let's get guys to the state tournament. Let's go win a team state title here at some point. So one record down. Let's continue to chase more and more, and eventually we'll get back to this mark, and it'll feel even better. We won our 11th sectional title this year. Again, second time that we've won 3 straight sectionals. Looking to win our 4th again next year, and hopefully that streak continues for a long, long time. We also qualified for the Team State Championships over in Fort Wayne on January 2nd. I will have more information on this as we get closer to that date. We have started working on some stuff already as far as planning and what we're going to do that week. Parents, just so you know, we have talked about this. You will have to find a hotel on your own. We are going to get hotels for the boys and girls to all stay in, but just plan ahead. Obviously, we want you to have this date booked on your calendar and have that whole week booked off. It's going to be really important that everyone is at practice that week, so please mark this on your calendars. Make sure your weeks are blocked off that entire week. Let's get ready to go over to Fort Wayne and compete for a team state title. All right, so looking ahead, we got 10 returning starters. We got 2 sectional champs, 1 regional champ, several experienced backups, a couple guys that, were behind some varsity guys at the end of the year, but had a lot of varsity matches, had a lot of varsity wins. Had 1 wrestler as a regional qualifier that was banged up all year. So despite the fact that we had a lot of success this year, I'm really, really excited, really, really motivated to get back in the room working for next season. All right, so we're going to go through our entire team, just say a few little things about each person, and we'll go from there. So we're going to start with the freshmen. We had 15 freshmen this year, which I'm not sure we've ever had 15 freshmen. This year was a very challenging year from the standpoint of learning to manage 35 kids in the room at one time. We've never had these numbers before. It's a great problem to have. And I'm super excited to have all 15 of these kids back next year and continue building from there. So first things first, the girls, we got Rhiannon Pinkerman, Rachel Dunlap, and Michelle Aguilar. So again, all 3 participated in the girls regional. Rachel ended up placing, I'm sorry, that says 7th. That's a typo. She placed 8th at the state championships in Kokomo. Looking forward to having them back next year. I think as they grow older and they mature, they will become better wrestlers. They'll be stronger on the mat. And really excited to see. Hopefully they all can qualify for that state tournament here the next 3 years and get on the podium. We got Austin Pollins. Austin is a second-year wrestler. Really started taking it serious, I think, in the summer last year. Won a lot of JV matches for us. Improved a ton. I remember coming back from Lafayette Jeff and Coach Anderson being like, wow, Austin Pollins looked really, really good today. I started riding legs, and we're really, really, really excited to see what he can be in the next 3 years. Michael King is a first-year wrestler. Had him in class and came up to me one day and said, I think I want to wrestle. So came out for the team. Worked really, really hard and really excited to see what he can do the next 3 years as well. And then Reese Majeski, kind of like Michael, just kind of showed up to class one day and said, I think I'm going to try wrestling. He's tough. He's mean when he wants to be. I tell you, he's passionate about the sport, and I'm really excited to see him improve. I know he's been working out at home, lifting weights, trying to get his mile time down. So keep working hard, Reese. Let's see what we can get, okay? Next, Graydon Daniels. Graydon's a first-year wrestler as well. Was able to talk him into it after football season. Wrestled a lot of varsity matches for us. Being a big guy, a lot of times it's tough when you're wrestling juniors and seniors because they're so much more physically mature than a freshman at that weight. But again, he's committed. We had a really good talk after the season about what his high school career could look like. And before this coronavirus thing hit, was planning on being in the room every day with us. So really excited to see his development here in the next year, and looking forward to him contributing to the team in a big manner next year. Logan Leer. Logan's been wrestling through our club and through middle school. Was a backup for us at 13 and 20. Wrestled really well up at Crown Point early in the year. Won some matches later in the year for the varsity, and won a couple matches over at Rochester, I believe, as well. Saw a lot of improvement out of him as well. Colton Plew, I had to nag Colton to wrestle all year. Had him in football. I knew he was a really, really hard-working kid and a really tough kid, and I'm not sure what hit him, but all of a sudden one day he said, you know what, I'm going to finally do it. And actually had quite a bit of success when given the opportunity. Obviously a really large learning curve for a lot of these first-year guys, but they've got a lot of partners in the room and a lot of experience in the room to wrestle with, and really looking forward to seeing how much Colton can improve even more the next 3 years, given the fact he was 6-2 this year, won some varsity matches, wrestled some of our more experienced guys pretty tough late in the year, and he's scrappy, man, so looking forward to that as well. Caleb Oliver. Caleb was a varsity wrestler for us most of the year. Him and Mason Stanley both went back and forth in the lineup, but was 21-5. Was super successful when in the lineup. I know he's getting big right now. Dad texted me yesterday saying he's weighing about 112, 113. So looking forward to him being hopefully at 6 again next year, and being a huge point scorer for us. He's fully capable of being a semi-state qualifier at some point. Just stay on the path, man, and we're going to get there. Same with Elias McAdowell, 13-4 in varsity matches. When he was called upon, did his job, worked really, really hard in the room all year. Saw a lot of improvement in his attitude and his effort from his middle school days. So, again, looking forward to having these guys in the lineup the next 3 years. I think they're going to be huge contributors to our team. And then Trent Simmons. Trent's another one that does whatever we ask him to do. We asked him to bump up to 182 for the state tournament. He's not a 182-pounder, so he struggled there as far as strength goes and physical maturity, but did whatever we asked and didn't complain about it. He knew he had to do what was best for the team, and we can appreciate that. And that goes a long way. He's going to be a guy that as he grows and develops, he's going to fill into those bigger weight classes, that 67 to 82 range, and is going to be a big point scorer for us as well. Cohen Craig, semi-state qualifier. For those of you that don't know, Cohen started wrestling in 8th grade, which was last January. So a little over a year, won 32 matches for us, was a semi-state qualifier, placed 4th at Lake County, was a conference runner-up. Several of those 14 losses, though, and I think he'll tell you the same thing, would love to have those back. A couple of 1-2 point matches or matches where he gave up, one big move. That's just due to some inexperience. This is a kid that I think can be a state qualifier, if not a multiple time state qualifier, because he loves the sport. He's passionate about it. He works extremely hard in the room. And so really excited for what the next 3 years hold for Cohen Craig. Mason Stanley was 18-9 this year, was a sectional runner-up, also a semi-state qualifier. I think the one match that really hits me for Mason was at the Lake County tournament. Wrestled a kid that was a state qualifier this year and lost 1-0. I think that shows, how close we are to being a state qualifier as well. Also wrestled a kid from Wawasee at the semi-state where, we were down 4-2 with a minute left. We just scored on them. We're very close to being really, really good, and I know he's working his butt off right now. I get texts all the time from him telling me what he's doing as far as push-ups, running, whatever it may be. So I know he's itching to get back in the room. So keep working, Mason. Let's punch that ticket next year, all right? And then Jordan Cree. Jordan moved to Rensselaer here this year. Big football player, big thrower, and another one that I knew had the work ethic to be in the wrestling room. I think he was pretty indifferent about it all football season. And I kind of left him alone in the second half of football season as far as trying to convince him to wrestle. And then football ended, and the first day of wrestling practice, he stopped in and watched. And then the next day, he's like, you know what, I'm going to try it. And before you knew it, he was busting his butt in there. And so being a first-year wrestler, winning 25 matches at 220 pounds, that's pretty impressive, considering you wrestle a lot of juniors and seniors. He was giving up some weight there at times. I think he weighed around 210 most of the year. Then went out to the freshman-sophomore state finals this year and won a lot of matches. Ended up placing third at the regional, winning a few matches at the state. And so really excited to see what the future holds for Jordan. I think, he said it best early in the year. I don't know what my sport can be because I've been successful at all three. Wrestling may be it, and I think if he commits to the wrestling room in the offseason some more, continues to mature, I think we're going to see a really good wrestler here by his by the end of his sophomore year, and then for sure his junior and senior year. All right, our sophomores. Kenseth Johns. I'm sorry for not getting a picture of you in there, Kenseth. Kenseth was banged up this year. He was a regional qualifier the year before for us at 126. Hopefully we can get him healthy and get him back. He's someone that can score a lot of points for us, and he's got a lot of experience wrestling from all the way from when he was in elementary school. So get healthy, get better. Let's get in here and score some points next year. Brody Arnett. Brody was probably one of our more dedicated wrestlers in the offseason. Unfortunately, we kind of had a log jam there between 132 and 152. And so it was tough for him to crack the lineup at times at those weights. But again, Brody did whatever we asked him to do. And I respect that and appreciate that a lot. We asked him to do an impossible thing and wrestle 174 sectionals because that's what was best for the team. We had him wrestle up a lot this year, and I think he's so passionate about the sport. He does work really, really hard. But I think in a year's time, when he's at a weight class where he fits, I think he'll end up having a lot of success. Ryan Kruse. Ryan finally broke through and got to the regional this year as a sophomore. Really, really good on top. Really, really proud of him as well. He does whatever we ask him to do. If we ask him to bump up, he does it. If we ask him to do whatever, he's very, very coachable. Very, very proud of him for finally getting to the regional, and I was so excited watching him come off the mat with a huge smile on his face because he had, I think it was a 6 or a 7 seed coming to sectional, and ends up qualifying and beating a couple guys that he had lost to earlier in the year. He was so excited to finally break through that sectional. And I'm looking forward again. Hopefully he can be at a weight that's he got either cut a little bit or he's right at. That way he can be a really, really strong kid at that weight and get to the semi-state state. And then Lakin Webb, 31 wins this year, sectional and regional champ. He's a semi-state ticket rounder. Again, ton of potential here. We had some battles, I think, at the beginning of the year, and it doesn't help that me and Lakin are related and we're cousins. We tend to butt heads sometimes, but definitely kudos to my coaching staff for recognizing that and stepping up and kind of taking Lakin as under their wing a little bit more and picking him up when he's picked up and kind of helping bridge that gap or that struggle that I had at times to coach Lakin just because we are related and we butt heads. But I'm super, super proud of him. I have all the confidence in the world that he can be a state qualifier this next year. End up being a 2-time qualifier, hopefully. Went to the freshman sophomore state and won a lot of matches for us. Placed 8th, wrestled some really, really tough kids, got some really good experience there. And so I'm really excited for him to be a leader on our team next year and score a lot of points for us. Juniors, we've got Lacy Leer. So Lacy was a manager for us her freshman and sophomore year, and we always kind of teased her that she should be wrestling. She's very athletic, real tough girl. She always plays dodgeball with us in the room, and she's better than a lot of the guys in the room at dodgeball. And so we always teased her that she should be wrestling. Finally, this year, she said she was going to do it. And, we didn't really believe her at first. But then she started ordering gear, ordered a singlet, showed practice, and definitely one of the tougher kids we have in the room. Doesn't back down from the guys. Probably didn't end the way she wanted to this year. I think she had aspirations of being at the state tournament. But that's something to look forward to, something to work hard for next year, and be a leader for our girls next year and get to that state tournament. Cole Ekstrom. Cole won a lot of matches for us this year. Wrestled really well up at Crown Point early in the year. Ended up placing second to an Avon kid. Really proud of his efforts this year, and I think he was one that maybe was indifferent about coming out for wrestling again this year, but super glad that he was a part of our team once again. Martin Bogut. Martin's battled some injuries early in his career. Finally put together, for the most part, an entire healthy season. He's an undersized heavyweight, but he's a very deceivingly strong kid and won a lot of matches for us early before getting a little banged up and then battling back here and placing 5th at the sectional. So very proud of Martin and looking forward to one more year with Martin as our heavyweight, hopefully. And then Dalton Lynch. Dalton had some injuries last year a little bit. Was a regional qualifier his freshman year. He's another kid that, because of that logjam from 32 to 52, did whatever we asked him to do. Ended up finishing the year at 152. Probably could have been a 38 or a 45 pounder for us in all reality. But very proud of him. He works extremely hard in the room. He's a quiet worker and busts his butt all the time. And then Kyle Carter. Kyle, 29-4 this year, conference champ, sectional champ, and a regional qualifier. And while Kyle had a ton of success this year, I'm sure it still feels a little bittersweet for him. We were up, I think, 9-1 in the regional in the first round, and ended up getting caught and put to our back and pinned. He finished second at Lake County, beat some real tough kids there. Probably, again, could have been a 38-pounder, but stuck behind Kobe and Eli. Really excited to see what he can do next year. I really would have liked to have seen him in that regional championship match and give him a shot at the semi-state and see what could happen. He's a guy that is extremely capable of being state finals next year. So let's put another year together. Let's finish strong, and let's be a state qualifier next year. And then our seniors. So we've got 6 seniors this year. This is my first group that I've been able to see all the way through. Started as an assistant 4 years ago after I stepped away from wrestling myself. And so I've got a little bit of attachment to these guys, and I care very deeply for them. So first one, Gage Oliver. I've known Gage since he was just a little guy. He wrestled a lot with my brother Eli growing up. They were partners at club and whatnot. Didn't wrestle his first 3 years of high school, though. But I am so proud of him and so happy that he finally came out for wrestling. Had to turn some things around, and me and him have a fantastic relationship. If you would have asked me 3 years ago if I would get along with Gage Oliver like I do today, I probably would have told you you're crazy. But we grew pretty close during football season. We talk here and there, and I'm super proud he came out for the team this year. He was a workhorse in the room, and also battled some injuries about halfway through the year that kept him out for a while. But again, can't speak enough about the turnaround this kid has made in his life, and how grateful he was this entire year just be a part of the team and be with the guys, and super proud of him. Micah Moore. Micah was a 4-year wrestler for us. First 2 years was a really, really undersized 106-pounder. But did whatever we asked for him. Again, this year, wrestled up at 120 for us, but we could have told him to wrestle 126, which we did a couple times, and he would do it. We could have told him to cut to 13, and he would have done it. Where he fit best for the team was at 120, and he didn't care. He came down on state weekend when we were at the state finals at Bankers Life and spent the whole weekend with us. He's a true team player. Was a regional qualifier as a junior. Was super, super close. Was up, I think, 4 or 5 points in the semis at sectionals to get into the finals. We kind of let one slip away, which ended up losing our next match, which cost us getting the regionals. But this kid's very, very tough. He takes a beating all the time in the room from guys that are bigger and stronger than him, and he keeps fighting back all the time. I think the best tournament he ever wrestled was the Lake County tournament this year. We were up his first match, and we ended up getting beat. And he had to win 4 straight matches to place 5th, and he did it. And he came back from behind in, I think, 3 of those 4 matches. That just shows you how tough he is. I mean, it's a tough tournament up there, and he didn't back down from anybody. And even though he lost early, he was able to fight his way back and finish the day 4-1. So, very proud of you, Micah. Pierce Taylor. Pierce started wrestling as a junior for us, and our first tournament, the North White Invite, ended up breaking his ankle. And we said all year that year that the way he was wrestling at the beginning of the year, and we knew how much he could improve throughout the year, if that kid wouldn't have gotten hurt, he would have been a semi-state qualifier. Well, we finally got that chance this year to test our hypothesis, test our theory, and we were right. This kid, from the beginning of the year, struggled a little bit. I know we lost to a Twin Lakes kid at the beginning of the year that he was so mad about. Ended up beating that same kid 3 more times throughout the year. Just progressed every single week, and ended up being a sectional champ and a semi-state qualifier. Had a beautiful high crotch, developed that all year. Wish we would have had him all 4 years. I feel like I've said that a couple times to my coaches about both him and Gage. Wish we'd have had him all 4 years. But regardless, very proud of what he's done here this season, and wish him the best going forward. Trixie. So Trixie this year had an abbreviated year with her broken hand. Finished the year 7-3. She is a 3-time girls state placer. Placed 3rd this year. I really think, if not for the injury, I think she could have been a state champ. I think she wrestled her tail off. Ended up losing to the same girl both at regionals and the semis at state. Lost to her by a point. And if we could have those matches back and maybe have a little healthier hand, I really think we could have won the state. So she will be wrestling at Northern Michigan University. They just announced in the spring that they are starting a wrestling program in the 2021-22 season. They'll have a club season this coming year, but Trixie was planning on going to Northern Michigan regardless. And when they announced that they were starting a wrestling program, she was pretty pumped and really excited to see how her college career goes. I think she'll have a lot of success there. It is freestyle, it's a little bit different, but again, really excited and really proud of Trixie and what she's done in the last 4 years. Kobe Johns. Kobe came to us here as a junior. Was at North White for his first 2 years of high school. We started this little slogan this year, "Burn the boats," and we'll talk about it. I'll talk about it here in a little bit, but it came from a conversation I had with Kobe at the end of last year. Kobe was a regional qualifier again last year, and just couldn't get over the hump. And so we had a talk. Hey man, you need to commit this off season. And he had told me, he had never really wrestled in the off season. And so there was this speech I had heard at a sales convention that I was at when I had an internship up north at Northwestern Mutual. And basically the guy said, Spanish conquistadors came to the New World, and Cortez, their leader, turned around and told them to burn their ships, burn their boats. They had to make do with what they had, and it was either win or die trying. And it's basically a metaphor for just saying, we are going to commit to this one goal. If that goal is to be a semi-state qualifier or state qualifier, commit to it. Do whatever you have to do every single day to be the best Kobe you can be. And he did that. I mean, he was in the room all the time last spring. He was in the room all summer. And he improved a ton. And you saw that in the way he wrestled. He's another one again. I wish we would have had him for 4 years. I think if we did, I think he's a regional champ this year. I think he's a 2 or 3 time semi-state qualifier. I think he's probably a state qualifier. But he improved a ton this past year, especially on his feet. He's always been really good on top. Won some big matches for us again, both at Lake County, at the conference, at the sectional. So very, very proud of Kobe and more proud of the improvement he's made and the friend he's become. So super proud of you, Kobe. Eli's my brother, obviously. This season was kind of bittersweet for me, considering the fact that me and him have been doing this since I was an 8th grader. So it's been 10, 12 years, and it's the last time that we ever get to kind of do sports together. So it's been very difficult, but I'm super proud and super blessed to have been able to do this. I don't know that many people get to ever really coach their little brother. Nevertheless, or better yet, being the first state qualifier I ever coached and being the first state placer I ever coached. I'm not sure many people can say that. Very proud of him. Most wins by a Obama wrestler ever. 4th state placer. Only multi-time state qualifier in wrestler history. 2nd 3-time regional champ. Tom Moon was our other one back in the 70s. And then also a 4-time sectional champ. And I think earlier I said that he was the only 4-time sectional champ. That's actually wrong. Mike Moon would have been the other 4-time sectional champ. And then he's a 2-time Hoosier Conference champ. So Eli will be wrestling. He's playing baseball at Concordia next year up in Chicago. It's been a dream of his since he was just a little guy. I sometimes wish he would wrestle, but it's not my life, and I'm super proud of who he's become, how hard he's worked, and looking forward to seeing him crush on the baseball diamond here the next 4 years. All right, so to our awards. The first award we have is our most outstanding wrestler. So this goes to the person that's scored the most points for us, and that person is Eli Hickman. Again, Eli is a 3-time state qualifier, 170 wins, set a school record this year with 44 wins in a season, which breaks his and Ryan Kaufman's record of 42. He also beat Ryan Kaufman's record for career wins this year with 135. So again, very proud of Eli for being our most outstanding wrestler. Our Mental Attitude Award. So this award goes to an individual that had ups and downs all year. I think the year started better than it ended for him, but faced some adversity throughout the year. And it wasn't necessarily anything that he had done wrong, but had a lot of success for us, did whatever we asked, even when it wasn't benefiting himself, but it was best for the team. And looking forward to having him wrestle for us the next 3 years and score a ton of points for us in our lighter weights. So the Mental Attitude Award winner this year is Caleb Oliver. So very proud of Caleb. Our Sportsmanship Award. So this is an award that every sports team gives out during or at their award ceremony. Something that the athletics department sponsors, and it's kind of an award that has several different meanings. So for us, sportsmanship is the person that shows up every day, works his butt off, leads by example. In the wrestling room, it's you can talk, but if you can't back it up, there's no sense in it. The guys that are quiet, work really hard, lead by example, are getting the most reps in drills. Those guys are going to have success. And those are the guys that become leaders on our team. And this person defines that. Doesn't say anything ever. Does whatever we ask of him. Loves the sport of wrestling. Talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he's bored at home right now. He's ready to get back in the room and work. So also faced a lot of adversity this year. Had a lot of issues with his teeth. Had to wear a mask at times this year. But regardless, kept going to battle and kept working and excited to have one more year with this kid. His name's Dalton Lynch. So very proud of you, Dalton. Let's get one more year in and let's qualify for that semi-state or state. All right, so our Team Bogut Award. So the Bogut Award stands for brutally aggressive guy uninhibited by adversity. This is something that Coach Bervin brought to the program when he started back in 1969. Something that Coach Brad Bervin kind of brought back for us when I started wrestling as my freshman year in 2009. And so at the end of the year, we give out a Team Bogut. And so we give this to a guy that may not be the best wrestler, may not be the strongest, fastest, but he's a tough kid. And we know we can always count on this guy. Again, we've got so many guys that are deserving of this. We've got so many guys that are selfless when it comes to doing what's best for the team. Something that we've really emphasized the last year, 2 years, 3 years. Do what's best for the team. That means you got to bump up, because that's what helps the team. And if the team wins, everyone wins. It's a lot of fun to have individual success in the sport, but it's a lot more fun to win things as a team. And this guy again defines what it means to be a team player or team wrestler. And that person is Micah Moore. Coach's Award. We gave this out last year too. This is something, I don't know that necessarily has a straight definition, but this person that's receiving the Coach's Award is someone that we have not always agreed on everything. And one thing that we say at the end of practice every night is family. We break on family. And being a part of a family means that, you're not always going to get along. You're not always going to agree with everything. But you are willing to work things out because you care for each other and you love each other. And this person, we had a really good talk at the end of the year. There were some, throughout my entire 4 years here, we haven't always agreed on things, but we have a lot of respect for each other. And that talk really helped me as a coach, just to look at some of the things that I was doing, and am I doing them the best that I can? And there's not many kids that will tell you or be honest with you about things that you're doing right and things that you're doing wrong. And I felt like in this conversation, I did learn that. This person had a lot of success in high school, 3-time state qualifier or state placer. Again, ton of respect for this person and wish them a lot of luck going forward in college wrestling. And thank you so much for that one conversation that really opened my eyes to what I need to be doing to make this program even better. And that's Trixie Magrin-Jacobson. Thank you, Trixie. All right, our most improved wrestler. We talked about this like halfway through the year because we were just seeing, ton of improvement from a lot of different guys, and we were thinking, who the heck are we going to give this to? Is it a kid that we saw improvement from middle school to high school? Is it, 3 or 4 kids that have improved a ton from their freshman and sophomore to junior and senior year? We don't know. But I think by the end of the year, we kind of had it figured out that this person really stood out amongst the rest. Last year, this person was a regional qualifier, just like he was this year, but the dominant style of wrestling that he showed all year and the relentlessness he had all year really stood out to us. And again, would love to have one match back with this guy and see how far we could have gotten. But our most improved wrestler this year is Kyle Carter. All right, our outstanding freshman. This person, very inexperienced, very raw, but one of our hardest workers in the room. And that hard work in the room and that intensity that he shows on a daily basis, and the passion he shows for the sport, is showed on the mat this year. And I think you put together a couple more years and a couple more summers of that same intensity, that same passion, and you're going to have one heck of a wrestler that is going to leave his mark on wrestler wrestling. So our outstanding freshman this year goes to Cohen Craig. And I got a bad picture of Cohen. I'm sorry, Cohen. That's a picture of Micah. All right, the next two awards are two of our senior awards. They're both very similar. One's called the Steve Keipke Award, and one's called the Tojo Award. Both of these awards go to individuals that displayed outstanding dedication to the sport. And this isn't just dedication during the season. This is out-of-season dedication. This is being a leader on the team. This is showing outstanding achievement in the sport. Both these individuals achieved their 100th wins this year, both at the same tournament, they won their 100th victory this year at the RCHS Super Duels. The other broke the school record for career wins at the RCHS Super Duels, which was a really, really cool thing to have happen, let alone it happening at home. But I'm super proud of these guys. Again, they've kind of inspired me and motivated me to be a better coach and to continue to push guys to burn the boats, commit. The more you do in the off season, the more success you're going to have in the sport. So our Steve Keipke Award winner is Kobe Johns, and our Tojo Award winner goes to Eli Hickman. So I want to thank everybody again. Parents, thank you so much for your support. You guys are easy to work with, and I greatly appreciate it. Don't ever hesitate to ask me any questions. And thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your kid's life. Don't make a ton of money doing this, but this is by far my biggest passion. I cannot wait for the day to where we can get back in the wrestling room and start working again, and just be around the kids. This is a dream job. As silly as it may sound, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. I also want to thank my wife for allowing me to do this. Luckily, she understands the sport of wrestling too, and she's very passionate about it and has family that is very passionate about it. So I know I'm not always easy to deal with during wrestling season, but I do really appreciate it, and I want to thank my coaches' families as well. We spend a lot of time away from home, whether it be at high school tournaments, middle school tournaments, freshman, sophomore, regional, state. It's a job away from home, or a job outside our normal job, but it's something that we're very, very passionate about, something that we take a lot of pride in, and I hope that we can continue building for the future and continue having success. So again, looking forward to July 1st, hopefully, where we can all get together and wrestle again. Keep working hard, keep finding something to do every day, even if it's 5 minutes in your stance. Move around your stance for 5 minutes. Go take some shots in the grass. Get some runs in, get some push-ups in, some lifts in. Do something every day. If we're not improving, we're regressing. Okay, so make sure we are improving every day. And again, can't wait to see you guys. So Everybody stay safe. Let me know if you guys need anything at all, and we'll see you soon.